The invasion began with laughter. It ended with humanity owning their throne. The Galactic Council had been laughing for 3 standard cycles. Ambassador Zektar of the Hegemony wiped moisture from his compound eyes as he addressed the assembled delegates. "Surely you jest, Councillor Vexhai. These humans defeated the Korthak Empire? The same Korthak who conquered 17 systems in a single solar rotation?" Councillor Vexhai, his chitinous frame trembling with what the translation matrix, interpreted as mirth, projected the holographic data once more. "The reports are verified, Ambassador. The humans didn't just defeat the Korthak, they absorbed their entire fleet structure and turned it against the Drakari Confederation." The laughter echoed through the crystalline chambers of the council station. Representatives from 47 species found the notion absurd. Humans were a recent addition to galactic civilization, barely 3 centuries since first contact. They possessed no energy-based weaponry beyond primitive plasma technology, no psychic abilities, and their physical attributes were laughably average by galactic standards. "Perhaps," wheezed Representative Morden through his breathing apparatus, "we should dispatch a small correction fleet. A dozen dreadnoughts should suffice to remind these upstarts of their place." The council voted unanimously. 3 months later, Admiral Zara Okafor stood on the bridge of the UES Determination, watching the last Hegemony dreadnought surrender. Around her, the wreckage of 11 other ships drifted in the void, their crews either dead or captured. "Admiral," reported her tactical officer, "the Hegemony flagship is requesting permission to come aboard." Zara nodded, her dark eyes never leaving the tactical display. The engagement had lasted 47 minutes. The Hegemony had expected humans to fight like every other species, with energy weapons at range, seeking decisive technological superiority. Instead, they found themselves facing something unprecedented. The humans had closed to knife-fighting range before the alien commanders could react. Their ships, retrofitted civilian vessels and hastily assembled frigates, had swarmed the dreadnoughts like pack hunters, exploiting gaps in formations that no civilized species would dare attempt. When the aliens tried to retreat to safe firing distances, they found human vessels already there, having somehow anticipated their movements. Most disturbing of all, the humans seemed to enjoy it. Captain Thexmore of the surrendered flagship materialized on the human bridge, his translator, struggling with what he was witnessing. The human crew was celebrating. They sang discordant battle songs while tending to their wounded. They shared intoxicating beverages while analyzing tactical data. One human was actually laughing as she calculated casualty reports. "You fight without honor," Thexmore declared, his voice carrying the weight of 10,000 years of galactic military tradition. Admiral Okafor turned to face him, and the alien captain felt something primal stir in his mind. The recognition of a predator. "Honor?" she asked, her voice carrying genuine curiosity. "Captain, we're not fighting for honor, we're fighting for survival, and apparently we're quite good at it." She gestured to the view screen showing the debris field. "Your honorable tactics killed 3 billion of my people when you glassed New Geneva last month. We learned from that mistake." Thexmore's translator couldn't parse the emotion in her voice. It registered as something between fury and cold satisfaction. News of the Hegemony's defeat spread through the galaxy like quantum entanglement. The Drakari Confederation, still reeling from their losses to the absorbed Korthak fleet, attempted to form a coalition. 17 species contributed ships to the largest armada in recorded galactic history. They found Earth's system empty. Instead, they discovered humanity had spent the intervening months doing something no species had attempted in galactic memory. They had militarized their entire civilian population. Cargo haulers had been converted to missile platforms. Passenger liners became troop transports. Mining vessels carried nuclear warheads. And behind every converted ship flew humanity's new allies, former enemies who had surrendered and been offered a choice: join the human fleet, or face the same fate as those who chose to fight. The Drakari. Admiral Kexthu realized too late that humanity didn't fight wars the way civilized species did. They fought wars the way their distant ancestors had fought for survival in caves and forests, with desperate creativity, overwhelming violence, and an absolutely terrifying refusal to accept defeat. The coalition lasted 6 days. On the 7th day, Admiral Okafor stood before the emergency session of the Galactic Council, where once 47 species had laughed at humanity's prospects, now only 23 delegates remained. The others had either been conquered, absorbed into the human fleet structure, or had preemptively surrendered. The chair recognizes Admiral Okafor of the Human Systems Alliance, announced the Council's AI, its voice carefully neutral. Zara stepped forward, her uniform bearing the insignia of a dozen absorbed fleets. Behind her stood former enemies now wearing human colors, Korthak shock troopers, hegemony naval officers, Drakari pilots, species that had fought each other for millennia, now served under human command. Honored counselors, she began, and several delegates flinched at the predatory smile in her voice. I'm here to discuss terms. Counselor Vexhai, one of the few original members still present, leaned forward. Terms? You're in no position to demand— I'm not demanding anything, Zara interrupted. I'm offering you the same choice we've offered everyone else. Join us, willingly, or wait for us to come back with a bigger fleet. She gestured to her mixed-species crew. You see, we discovered something interesting about galactic civilization. You've all been playing by the same rules for so long. You forgot that rules can be changed. You fight for honor, for territory, for resources. We fight for something you apparently never learned to value. And what is that? Whispered Representative Morden. Each other, Zara replied simply. Every human who dies fighting becomes a debt we collect with interest. Every ally who joins us becomes family. Every enemy who surrenders becomes a friend. You've built your civilizations on hierarchy and competition. We built ours on something you call primitive, pack loyalty. She looked around the chamber, meeting the gaze of each remaining delegate. The invasion you sent to humble us? It taught us something important. The galaxy isn't ruled by the strongest or the smartest. It's ruled by whoever wants it most. Admiral Okafor smiled, and in that expression the Galactic Council finally understood why the invasion had begun with their laughter. It was ending with humanity's ascension to the throne. So, she continued, who wants to be the first to volunteer for our next expansion fleet? I hear the Andromeda Galaxy is lovely this time of year. The Council voted unanimously, again.